10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
What is going on, Birdland? Stephen Heckman here for the Final Strike, brought to you by the Baltimore Battery. Here we are on Sunday. Baltimore Orioles on a 7-game winning streak, so the All-Star break did not slow them down at all. Baltimore Orioles wrap up a 3-game sweep of the Houston Astros. Looked pretty good while they were doing it, and now they get ready to head to Boston, where they will take on the mighty Boston Red Sox, who have currently won 13 in a row. So the two hottest teams in baseball, which come from the AL East, are also going to be facing each other for the next 3 games. So it's going to be a pretty interesting series, as Boston is 50-48 and Baltimore is 49-51. They are separated by 2 games. Baltimore 6 games out in the division. Boston's 6 games out in the division. Baltimore is 8 games out in the division. And if you look at the wild card standings, Baltimore currently is 2 games out, with Boston holding the 3rd and final wild card spot. Baltimore is also their game behind Seattle, who's 50-50. Then there's nobody else ahead of them fighting for the wild card spot that isn't already in a spot. Does that make sense? So you have the top 3 teams in the wild card spot, then Seattle, then Baltimore. We are tied with the Minnesota Twins right now, and then Detroit sits at 4 games back. Houston is now 4.5 games back, along with Toronto, and the Athletics are 8.5 games back. Kansas City, 11 games, and the Angels are 12.5 games. So things are looking semi-good. And I only say semi-good because waiting to find out what is going on with Samuel Basallo, Big Sam, after hitting into a grounder to first baseman, swearing up the line, grabbed hold of his right shoulder, looked like he was in some pain. We'll wait to find out what is going on with him. He was lifted. Sam Huff did come in to replace him for the game and finish the game for Big Sam. So be interesting to see what happens. Interesting about that is a few weeks ago, Big Sam was hit in that shoulder as well, ended up staying in the game. And so might be a relation to that, something that's just been sitting there waiting to happen. It could just be, some soreness and stiffness, has some time off, 4 games off, probably didn't do much stretching and working out. We'll find out. They'll send them back to Baltimore for some testing, and we'll go from there. Good news is we still do have Adley Rutschman, who was off today, so he should be getting the start tomorrow against Boston. Starters were announced for the Boston series, and to start the Boston series, we will have, if I'm correct, yes, Shane Baz, the good old Wizard of Baz. Should be Kyle Bradish and Dean Kramer, if I'm correct. Kyle Bradish, second game, and the third and final game should be Dirty Dean Kramer. So, speaking of Kyle Bradish, yesterday before the game, it was announced, signed a 5-year, $90 million extension with the Baltimore Orioles. So you now have Shane Baz and Kyle Bradish, your 1-2 starters for the Baltimore Orioles, locked up for the next 5 years. 29-year-old Bradish is now arbitration years taken away, is now with the team through the 2031. I'm fast forwarding 2031 season, and has shown pretty well how much he deserves this contract. He has pitched phenomenally for us. Even in his rough outings, he's looked pretty damn good. He's definitely an ace in the making. He looked like one before the Tommy John surgery. He's had a difficult road back. Even before the Tommy John surgery, though, with a partially torn UCL, he still looked pretty damn good when he had the plasma platelet-rich plasma injections. He still pitched 8 games for us. Orioles went 6-2 in those games, and he still had a pretty impressive ERA during those games. So, even with an elbow falling apart, he was still able to come out there and perform, do his duties, and keep the Baltimore Orioles in games, and you couldn't ask for more than that with a guy who had an elbow falling apart. Um, Things got off to a rocky start beginning of this year. A lot of it was location, which not pitching for nearly 2 years, you get yourself back into working into a rhythm with certain pitches. A lot of that, I think, was more the two-seam fastball, if anything, and maybe the cutter, but he seems to have figured things out. Now he looks like the Kyle Bradish of old, and it's gonna be a hell of a series. I mean, if Shane Baz pitches to the way he's been pitching lately, and you get, um Kyle Bradish pitching the way he's pitching, and Dean Kramer, he just got his ugly start out of the way. I was actually talking to my buddy Ivan about this the other day. Dean Kramer usually has an ugly start, and then he gets 2 to 4 good starts sandwiched in between that. This is going to be a good series. It's going to be one good fun series. You got the immovable object against the immovable force. So something's got to give. One of those teams is going to end up with a heartbreak, and the other team's going to end up with a broken heart. I don't know if anybody will get a sweep because I think these teams right now are both playing with a lot of pride and a lot of feistiness. But right now, this is the series to watch this week. Um, Yankees and Dodgers. Yankees have lost 2 in a row. They have the third game of the series ending tonight. They had a day-night doubleheader today, so we'll see what happens from that as well. Uh, but right now, it's just good things are happening. Adley Rutschman went 0 for 1 in the All-Star game, but he did get to catch former battery mates, one from college and one Brian Baker he got to close the game out with. So he had a good time there, represented the Orioles with class as he always does, third All-Star appearance. Um, could be said that, we possibly could have had 1 or 2 more players go. That's here nor there. It's always a popularity contest, that most people do. But when it gets to picking the pitchers and usually the replacements, that's usually down to the managers. So I digress, though. We'll see what happens going forward. No big deal. I'm more worried about what the Orioles are going to do going forward. Trade deadline's August 3rd. Here we are, the 19th. Yeah, it's 20th. So you got 2 weeks. 2 weeks till the trade deadline, basically. So, be interesting to see what's gonna happen. The Orioles currently sit 2 games back in the wild card, as I just said. So, you know, depending on what happens with Samuel Basallo is gonna determine a lot. Third base is still something that, you've gotta watch out for the Baltimore Orioles, especially with Jordan Westburg down, for the season, and now Blaze Alexander. Broken non-displaced fracture on his right hand. That's usually 6 to 8 week, recovery time frame. You know, Baseball players tend to find ways to recover quicker sometimes, but 6 to 8 weeks, there's 2 months left in the season. So you're pushing yourself right up to the edge of when the end of the season's going to be. Um, so if we do get lucky and get Blaze back, it will probably won't be until right around the playoff time, and that's if the Orioles make the playoffs. So we're gonna have to see what happens there going forward. But missing Blaze is huge. Keegan Aiken already has had his Tommy John surgery. He'll be gone for the rest of this season, more than likely most, if not all, of the 2027 season. Ryan Helsley was put on the 60-day IL today. So he's probably done for the season, barring playoff run, which means that Helsley pitched a total of 17 grand games for the Baltimore Orioles this year. And in the process, made $14 million for 17 games. I said it's a pretty good sizable paycheck for him. Um, First part of the season, he looked pretty good. He did blow a couple saves, but he had a sub-3 ERA. It's the second part that he came back. After the elbow inflammation, he had an ERA that was approaching 6. Um, just can't have that from your closer. We had who did we have close today? Wolfram. Yeah, Grant Wolfram closed today. I'm not so sure I like that. Wolfram, lefty specialist usually, but he's been a roller coaster ride as of late. And unfortunately, with Keegan Aiken down, he's got to be the go-to specialist right now for us for lefties, unless we bring up Cade Povich and Dietrich Enge, which I would prefer Dietrich Enge right now. He's been in pressure situations for us. He had a 3-0 record before he was sent down. Luckily, he was cleared through waivers, so we were able to retain him. I would like to see him back in the bullpen, though, for us. I think he's a better arm than Wolfram. Wolfram did show out for us last year, but this year has been a struggle. And I think a lot of that, and, Nathan and me touched base on this before. Nathan from Full Count Chaos, being in the bullpen and not having a defined role kind of makes it hard to prepare for what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to prepare for the game, how you're supposed to get yourself situated and ready for a game. There's a different mentality closers and setup men have to prepare for, different mentality for long relief, short relief, situational relief, all that. And, I think that's been a problem with our bullpen as of late because when you see Yenyer Cano pitching the 8th inning and then 3 days later pitching the 6th inning, is he your setup man or is he a bridge man? How does he go out and prepare if he doesn't know what he's supposed to do? You have Tyler Wells. He'll pitch the 6th inning one day. It's the 5th inning. He'll come in long relief and pitch the 3rd through the 4th inning. And then the following week, he's out there pitching the 9th inning. Is he going to be long relief, middle relief? Is he going to be your closer? Those type of things I think are detrimental to helping the bullpen be successful for you. Tyler Wells is probably your most qualified candidate in the bullpen right now to be your closer. He has 3 saves already. He's converted all 3 of his save opportunities this year. He's probably the person best in line to complete the closer role as needed. Ryan Helsley doesn't look like he's coming back this year. It's possible Felix Bautista does come back, but that's nor here nor there because until we know how his progress goes along and if he is available come September and October, right now we don't have a defined closer. Tyler Wells is ideal for the situation. When he first came to the Baltimore Orioles, he closed games for us. He set games up for us. So why not put somebody who has the experience doing it in that role? That would be the logical choice. Instead of putting people like Alvarez and Garcia, even Cano, out in that position where they're not comfortable or have the experience in doing it, that type of pressure is not what you need to put on those players. People who have experienced the pressure and been through it are the people who can understand it and learn how to deal with it and get through that. It's all about how to prepare, how to approach the situation. And I think we're starting to see that. Over the last month and a half, the Baltimore Orioles bullpen has been one of the best in the majors. They rank in the top 10 in most categories. During the 7-game winning streak, the Baltimore Orioles bullpen is actually top 7 in the league. The starting rotation is in the top 3 in the league in ERA. So those are kind of important things that you want to look at. And actually, let me get the exact figures for you because I actually do have them here. So give me a sec because we were looking at them earlier this morning when we were discussing this. Here we go. During the winning streak coming in today, the Orioles team ERA was 177. The rotation had a 260 ERA with 4 quality starts, and that was before today being they picked up another quality start. So that's 5 quality starts and during the 7-game winning streak. The bullpen ERA during that time is 0.42. Now, Rico Garcia did give up a home run today, so that number will climb. But the fact is, this is what you've been looking for. During this time, they have allowed a total of 14 runs with 13 of them being earned during the 7 games. That's impressive. I mean, you can't ask for anything better than that. You really can't. And when you break it down into the ERA category, you go, let's see. Seven games, 9 is 63. So 14 times 63 comes to 882. Divide that by 9. That comes out to a .98 ERA. That's what you got, a .98 ERA during that time. So that's what we've been looking for. So you have your rotation and your bullpen working collectively together. You have the team offense doing what it needs to do to properly win games. I actually saw things being done today that are helping the offense secure wins where they need to be. The Gunnar Henderson, actually in one inning alone, was responsible for 2 runs scored. Not only did Jackson Holiday get over to second base on a steal, he scored on the single by Gunnar Henderson. Gunnar Henderson proceeded then to steal second base, get over to third on a walk after a ground ball, put a player on first and third. He stole home on a double steal attempt. Now, the runner at second base was thrown out, but they never completed the play to the plate to even try and throw him out. But Gunnar Henderson hit the run in and then scored the run on a stolen base. So Gunnar Henderson single-handedly was responsible for 2 runs in an inning. Now, you know me, all year long, I've been bashing and riding Gunnar Henderson's ass about what he's not been doing and how he has not been showing up and doing what he should be as a star player for the Baltimore Orioles. Today, he actually showed up and showed out. Those are the things, those small things are the big differences that are going to help the Orioles succeed. They're going to help the Orioles take that next step and possibly get into postseason contention and maybe win a postseason game. Because when you look at the box score from today, one of the things that stands out that's highly important is we stole 1, 2, 3, 4 bases. We were caught stealing once. We only grounded into 1 double play. Now, we ended up leaving 10 runners on base, and we were only 2 for 10 with runners in scoring position. But those stolen bases, those 4 stolen bases were very critical. Beavers ended up scoring. Alonso's stolen base, he ended up scoring after his stolen base. Gunnar Henderson stole home. Colton Cowser's stolen base didn't account for anything. So 3 stolen bases resulted in runs. Now, one of the stolen bases resulted in an unearned run because, oh no, it didn't. Colton Cowser got the third base because the ball was thrown into the outfield. But it's those small things. If you're putting your team with the ability to get players in scoring position, you not only eliminate the double play, but you give your next player the ability to knock players in. Leody Taveras knocked 2 runners in after consecutive stolen bases. Gunnar Henderson knocks a player in after a stolen base. So you're taking these small steps, and maybe this is something they discussed over the All-Star break, but you're taking these small steps that is going to help make your team more successful. There are players on this team who have the ability to do this. Gunnar Henderson last year stole 20 bases. He was a 20-20 man last year. Or no, he wasn't. He was a 17-20 man. I apologize. But he has the potential to be a 30-30 guy. He has the power ability. He has the speed. Don't need him stealing too many bases because don't want him hurt. Tyler Ward has the ability to steal bases. You have Pete Alonso, Ironically, in the first 98 games, he only stole 2 bases. In the last 2 games, he's stolen 2 bases as well. He has 4 steals on the season. That's a career high on a season. Dylan Beavers has the ability to steal bases. Colton Cowser, he's not super fast, but he's quick. He can steal some bases for you. Jackson Holiday can steal bases for you. Jeremiah Jackson can steal bases for you. So we have players on the team who are capable of stealing bases. We have players on the team like Leody Tavares and Jackson Holiday who are capable of bunting to put players in scoring position or do suicide squeezes or move a player over from second to third, which when you get into extra innings, those little things can be the difference. Those little things can be the difference between you winning a game 3-2 or losing a game 3-2. And when you start making those sacrifices or making those corrections, you're doing the small things that are going to help you in those close games when you get into extra innings or when you get into the 9th inning and you have a tie ball game. These are the things that you expect your manager to pick up on or expect your manager to know what to do and how to handle. The Alvarez that has been managing these first 3 games out of the break has looked like a different Alvarez that's been managing all season. Now, whether he made some phone calls over the break and picked some people's brains, whether he sat down with Elias and talked to him and Rubenstein, got some advice on what they feel they need to change or what they needed to do, I don't know. But whatever they did over the All-Star break, it seems to be working because the Orioles are having fun again. Alvarez is in tune more to what's going on. When there was a challenge play and we had the player thrown out at second base today, Albie was quick out of the dugout to not only address them taking the runner out of the game because they called him out, but also the walk. And the reason Albie came out and they showed it on the replay is the umpire during the play or called the runner safe. Now, what they were trying to explain to Albie was the fact that they called him safe because the pitch was originally called ball 4, which makes sense. During the replay, you could see they actually did tag the runner out. But it's the fact that Albie was quick out of the dugout to get the decision on what was going on, get an understanding of what was going on. You could see him actually pointing to the umpire at second base saying, "What happened? You called him safe. Why is my runner being sent to the dugout if you kept calling him safe?" And that was one of the big things that came up. So I feel like that type of thing was not something that was paid attention to or a focal point. And I know, like I said, it's a small thing, but it wasn't as much a focal point during the first part of the season as it was now. And I know as y'all are hearing me talk about this, they're little things, but those little things add up, which makes the big things not as major as they could be because those little things are being taken care of as they appear. That way, when the big thing does happen, you're already ready to go and you move on and go quickly. So I'll gladly take those extra 30 seconds for Albie to come out and be the manager. Well, you called my guy safe there. Why are you sending him back to the dugout after you reviewed a pitch? You never said he was out. You said he was safe. I'll take that any day because you're challenging the umpire's call on the field for after you called a guy safe. Even though he was out, I mean, video replay clearly showed the guy was out. But also in that instance, you're also making sure that the other team's replay challenge is used in the process or whether it was used in the process because all they were reviewing was the strike call or the ball call. So in that instance, was it a review of the runner being tagged out or was it a review of the pitch? So those things come into factor, and those are things I feel like Albie would not have called in the first half or called on into the first half. So they're details. I know they're small details, but they're details, and I think as a manager, those are details that you have to pick up on. Those are things that Buck Showalter would have picked up on. Your Tony La Russas, your Sparky Andersons, those are certain details that you can't let slide throughout the game because they can come back and haunt you in the end. If you don't question that, do you let a runner go back to base that an umpire called safe that you could have had on the field for an extra run? It's an out that, was given after somebody called him safe. Do you get away with an out because you didn't question the umpire calling him safe? And that's all I'm saying. So it's a different brand of baseball from the manager than what we saw in the first part of the season. And that's a good thing. I hope that continues. And my buddy Ivan and me were talking about it today, and he said, you know, maybe, the first half was him getting to know the players and getting to understand how the team works and everything like that. And now this part, he's going to actually go away and take it on the fly, and the players are going to get to know him and everything like that. It's possible. It very well is. He's a first year manager, rookie manager. Yes, he was praised about, and everybody said to hire him. But at the same time, he is a first year manager. So just thought I'd mention that. Thought it was something interesting. Let me know what you think. Is it something you think is important? Is it something that maybe I'm just reading too much detail into? These small little things that I pointed out here, are these details that you think are important to the game, important to what Alvarez is starting to do with the team, or not? Do you think that they are things that they might have discussed during the All-Star break before they came back and started this series? Are these things that you expect the team to continue throughout the rest of the season? We're at the 100-game mark. There's only 62 games left in the season, so that's not that many. What do you think? What are your all's opinions on this? What do you all feel the Orioles need to do going forward? Do they continue playing this gritty style of offense where, you take that extra base, you steal that base when you have a chance, bunt the player over, sacrifice flies? It's not always about hitting the ball out of the ballpark. Sometimes you'd rather take a single than strike out swinging to hit the 2-run home run. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you all are thinking about this, and let me know what you and Birdland are talking about out there, because I'd like to know your feedback. So I just want you to know today's show, we are drinking Rise Mushroom Coffee. New product I wanted to try. It's supposed to provide you a boost, and over a process of, let's say, 2 months, you can actually feel energy improve, your clarity improve, your focus improve. So we're going to give it a try, and it's RYZE. Actually, go join now. There's a starter pack you can actually get. It comes with various goodies. It's definitely not going to hurt. It's RYZE. You can find it pretty much anywhere, social media sites. Sure, they'll probably have some little box up here in my thing because I have to announce if I'm commentating them or have their product name. But the other thing I want to talk to you about is Little Bricks Charity, and run by a friend of mine, Russell. He has a charity where they actually help bring smiles to kids who have cancer. And one of the things they're doing right now is they are actually working with NASCAR. And they're racing to deliver 18,000 smiles to hospitalized kids. What you can do is you can go to their website. It's littlebrickscharity.org, or you can actually visit my TikTok page. And if you go up to my TikTok page, go over, it says I support Little Bricks Charity. You can actually click on that link, and it'll actually take you to the website so you can donate as well. $40 gets you the pit crew, which is helps 9.6 kids, your name on the body of the car, and your name on YouTube video credits. If you donate $120, it's a VIP. There's only 150 spots available for that. That helps 29.8 kids, so roughly 30 kids. You get your name on the hood of the car, your name on a YouTube video, and your name showcased on TikTok Lives. They are looking to help 18,000 kids. Okay. They have 78 donations so far, which totals up to 1,584 kids. They have 29 hood donations. So, what I want everybody in Birdland to do is go show what Birdland does. Go show how we all help kids around here. It's racing to deliver, like I say, littlebrickscharity.org. Or you can go to my TikTok page, which is at SRJ Heckman, and go all the way over and it says supporting Little Bricks Charity. Click on that icon and it'll actually take you to their page where you can actually make your donation. Actually, if you go to their page, it's right on the top of his page. When you go there, it says donate our mission, refer child, NASCAR, and media, and it'll actually tell you all about his charity. Russell's a great guy. He goes all across the U.S., all across various children's hospitals. Me and my buddies actually had a charity last year where we actually helped money by building Lego bricks. We all built the Millennium Falcon, the UCS Millennium Falcon, and people came by. It was an all-day build and donated money through a link that we had. And during that donation, we actually raised over $600, which in process was able to help 50 kids, if I'm correct. And what he does is actually delivered, at that time, he was delivering sets to the children. Now what he has is he actually has a book series that they were doing. And it's got a story of the adventures of Bricks and Fig, brother and sister, who anytime they get in trouble, they have this backpack that turns into bricks, and they turn them into cool things that help them out in their adventures. So they take them to children, and it's got little bricks in the set that, well, actually you can build along and help Brixie and Fig figure out how to get through their adventures. So make sure you visit littlebrickscharity.org. Send a donation. Like I said, anything you can give helps. But if you want to help with the NASCAR thing, which is awesome, I think it's going to be great. Delivering 18,000 smiles. Like I said, $40 gets your name on the side of the car, $120 gets your name on the hood of the car. Either way, you're going to get recognized on YouTube in the credits. One gets you recognized in the TikTok Live. So please head on over there. Your donation does help. And I've seen everything Russell has done. I've seen the smiles he's brought to the kids. He holds 3 Guinness Book of World Records, by the way. Walking across barefoot Lego bricks. And if anybody stepped on a Lego brick barefoot and late at night, you know how bad that hurts. So he's got 3 records for walking. It might be more right now, but last I heard it was 3 records for walking barefoot across bricks. So he goes to different shows also around the US, and he puts this out so people can actually walk across the bricks barefoot too. But yeah, definitely a great charity to be a part of. I'm not a part of it, but I help get his name out there. But definitely a great charity to donate to. Anything that helps sick children, gives them a smile, gives them something to distract themselves from what they're going through, is something you definitely want to be involved in. And no kid ever deserves to suffer. I think it's a great charity. I think he's wonderful what he's done. And I've known Russ for nearly 2 years now. And he blows my mind. He is all in on this. He has a family. His family helps him out. So you can find him on TikTok too. At Little Bricks Charity. He's on TikTok. But like I said, visit littlebrickscharity.org. You can go to my TikTok site at SRJ Heckman. Scroll across the little icon at the top, and it says I support Little Charity. donate one way or another. Like I said, if you want to be on a NASCAR, have some fun. Think it'd be great to have your name put on a NASCAR. You can donate to the NASCAR team. If you don't want to put that much, if you just want to spend a little bit, or you can only put a little bit in, that's great. Every little bit helps put a smile on a child's face. So don't think that because you don't have this much that it's not worth it. Every little bit helps. Trust me, I know. I've had my share where I've only been able to do so much here and so much there. So every little bit helps. Don't think it doesn't. It really does. Moving on, I also want to thank the Baltimore Battery. Without the Baltimore Battery, we would not be here. So I want to thank the Baltimore Battery for giving us the opportunity to be here and be with you all. Because without them, I wouldn't know you all. You all wouldn't know me. So thanks to the Baltimore Battery. Make sure you visit thebaltimorebattery.com, and you can find the Baltimore Battery available on TikTok at @VBMoreBattery and Twitter or X, formerly Twitter, at @VBMoreBattery as well. Don't forget, you can find me on Twitter, formerly or X, formerly Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok at SRJ Heckman, and you can find the Final Strike on X, formerly of Twitter, at @thefinalstrike_. Last but not least, want to give a big shout out to Advanced Mobility Solution, formerly Scooters for Rent, our sponsor. If you're ever in the Maryland, Delaware area and you're looking for mobility products on the Eastern Shore, they have mobility scooters, they have beach wheelchairs, electric wheelchairs, manual wheelchairs, lift recliners, and they do have a decent amount of lift recliners. People can't sleep in the beds in the hotels, the condos, or the houses. They have what you need so you can enjoy your vacation. Give them a call at 302-280-6203 and tell them Steven from the Final Strike sent you. Remember, Birdland, keep that beer cold. Keep on rooting for the O's. And we'll see you next time. Peace out.